Hi, it's Sandy Parker, and welcome to Crafting for Almost Everyone. Well, it's been a while. I'm so sorry. I've had a cold. I can't get rid of it. It's just one of those things. But today, I'm going to do a really cool technique, and I hope you'll stay tuned. First of all, let me tell you that my friend Rebecca Walton from Rubber Stamp Tapestry, she's one of the owners. She and I talked about a picture I saw in a secondhand store, and I'll link that picture right here so you see it. It's a picture of a bird that an artist drew with a bunch of little stamps creating the bird image, and I really thought that was the coolest idea. So Rebecca and I decided we're going to do a collaboration, and our collaboration is going to revolve around that technique, and hopefully you can see my bunny. I got this from Stencil Revolution. I loved it. It's perfect for this technique, I believe, and I think we're going to have a lot of fun with it. So then I've been watching videos because I've been sick. What else are you going to do? I've been watching videos, and one of the channels I've been watching that's really been interesting to me is a channel called Clarity Stamps, and they use a lot of gel press techniques that are really unusual to me. They put their gel press or their jelly plate on a piece of plexiglass that they sell, and they call it mega mounts, and they're in the UK. So just to get that plastic mount, it was £9 shipping. And I thought, geez, oh man, I don't want to pay shipping. So I contacted my local plate glass company or a glass making company. And I said, would you make me a piece of plexiglass that's 3/8 of an inch thick? I thought that would be a good width because it would, because I thought it would hold up. And it does. It's perfect thickness, and it's 7 inches by 7 inches, and my plate is a 6 inch by 6 inch. Now I bought it on Amazon for around $11, maybe $11.50, and I just got it. I hope you can see that. That's what it looks like. It's called a gel press, and I love the idea of what she did with it because she used it much differently than anyone I've ever seen. I'm not into really abstract art, and so when everybody else used jelly plates and they came up with these abstract things, I was like, oh, that's not me. When I was watching the videos from Clarity Stamps, they used their jelly plate more like an artistic tool than I'd seen anybody else. Now I'm putting my plastic on a piece of copy paper that's 6 inches by 6 inches. The reason I thought I would do that is then I would know where to line my paper up underneath. I saw them do that, so I'm going to do that. Because when I do this, I want to make sure that I put my paper down, and I'm using inexpensive. This is Georgia Pacific, not 110-pound cardstock you can get at Walmart, and I cut it to 6 inches by 6 inches, so it's the same size as my jelly plate. I will probably cut it down because my bunny is not 6 by 6. So, with that being said, let me show you the technique that I saw them do. The other thing that was cool about them is that they used inks, and I thought that would be something I could control. I have tried using a jelly plate, and I had a bigger jelly plate, and the jelly plate that I used before was crazy big, and I couldn't control it, and it just made me feel like I was not doing it properly. So I'm going to use my brayer, and you're probably saying to yourself, I can't really see the purple, Sandy. It's there. And I'm going to put a little bit more on because I have spots I want more purple and spots I want less purple. Not in my lap where I just dropped it. Unfortunately, Rich now has the cold, so I'm hoping he'll fill up to doing the editing. I'm putting just probably way too much on here, but I can always take it off. You can never put it back, once you take it off, so it's better to have more than less. And then I'm going to go this way. And can you see that paper? No, I'm going to move that over a little bit. I don't know if you can see this. The purple is coming off on this. So clearly there's purple on my jelly plate. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to lay my stencil on the jelly plate. And I'm lining it up at the bottom. I'm just going to tap it down. Now when they did it with their stencils, they made sure that the bubbles were out around the stencil so it would really adhere. And I thought that was kind of cool the way they did that. The other thing they did that I was really interested in is they took off some of the color within the rabbit. So I'm going to use a little bit of my paper, and I'm just going to kind of touch a little bit here and there to take off. See how much color is in there? You didn't think there was any, but there's a lot on there. Okay, so we're going to put our piece of cardstock on here. Again, I'm lining it up with the edges, and then I'm going to rub it over my rabbit. I know you've seen jelly printing a million times. This is no surprise to you. That's not the cool part about this technique. There are so many cool parts about this. You're going to be really like, wow, that's really cool. And I'm hoping I'm doing a good job of getting my rabbit. I'm going to use my brayer too. They did another technique, and I'm going to do the same technique because it was so interesting to me. And that was, hold on, let's see how we did with our rabbit. Oh, look how cool my rabbit is. Are you not impressed with that bunny? And see where I took the color out a little bit? That's so nifty. I'm loving it. Okay. Here's the other really, really cool thing they did. I'm going to make sure my brayer's clean. I don't know why I'm doing that, but I'm making sure. Okay. The other cool thing they did was they took their stencil, and you're probably going to say to yourself, yeah, I've seen this done, Sandy. I've seen it done a million times. Yeah, I know you have, but this is different. Okay. They took their stencil, they put it on another piece of cardstock, and this is 6 inches by 5 inches, so it's the exact same size as my bunny. Now they held it together, they didn't move it, hopefully I didn't move it either, and then what they did was they took their die cutting machine, and here's the layers. You're using your regular plate, then you're going to put in one of your cutting plates, then you're going to put in a rubber piece. We all have, if you don't have a rubber piece, put in fun foam. Then you're going to take a couple pieces of scrap paper, and I'm just going to use my paper that I did with this, and I'm just going to fold it over that, because if for any reason the ink would come out, you want to make sure that you have something to absorb it rather than your plates. So I'm going to put my other plate on top, then we're going to run this through my die cutting machine. Wait till you see this, it's so cool. Now keep in mind, if I had used a darker color, see my rabbit? He's not only on there, I'm going to hold it up more, but he's also kind of embossed. Can you see? Maybe you can't. You can see the lines of the stencil. I just thought that was the coolest idea, because now your background is purple, but very pale purple. So I can do the reverse of what I'm going to do with this rabbit. I'm just so excited about playing with this. Anyway, so that's what we're doing so far. Your dot or your stencil should be clean, but just to be on the safe side, you probably should rinse it off, because it is ink. It's not paint, so the ink will come off on your next project. So let me set this bunny aside. Now, because I used Distress ink, I could wet this and make that ink do more. But I just think he's so fun, isn't he? I don't know. I think he is. Anyway, so let's start with this little fella first. I'm not sure which one I'm going to use, as I said, because I just don't know. Because the technique, again, is the bird. And so I got a bunch of my peg stamps, and I will tell you their names as I use them. And I'm going to be using brush markers because I thought if I wanted a variety of colors, this would be the best way to do it. So I'm going to use, these are Arteza brush markers in a variety of colors, as you can see. If you need me to tell you the colors as I go, I can do that. But anyway, so what I want to do first is I'm going to take my biggest stamps, and I'm using all florals because I thought it'd be really fun to make my rabbit just different flowery colors. At first I thought about doing all purples, but there's not a lot of different colors of purple. I might try that first though and see how we do with, just using I'm still going to use the shaded lilac too, because I think I can make that work with these. So let me use, first I'm going to go in with, this is like, it's called a flower top, but it reminds me of grape hyacinth that you have in the spring. And since this is going to be an Easter card, I thought, you know what, why not give this a whirl? The other thing that's fun about using your brush markers is you don't have to worry about the ink on the edges. You know how sometimes you can get a rim from your stamps. You won't have that problem. That's cool. And of course I'm going to have to put a little stem on that, but that's no biggie. Put this out of the way. I'm going to have Rich fast forward through this because it's, obviously it's going to take forever for me to do all of these different flowers. Put him back. Oh, and if I didn't show you this before, I'm sure I have, but I put my peg stamps in this star ice cube tray because it holds them upright and I can see exactly what I'm dealing with. I think I'm going to go with a green and do some leaves. This is a really pretty stem. This leafy frond comes from the Secret Garden set. And when I get them in a set, I just write the name of the set on the stamp. Otherwise, if I buy them individually, then I write the name. Next up, I will be using a couple different shades of green. This green is called olive green. And the purple I used is not this one, it was this one. The purple I used was eggplant purple. The next purple I'm going to use is wisteria purple. I'm going to use this one, and it's called Sopanaria Solid. I'm also, when I'm done, I'm also going to go in and use some, I'm going to use my colored pencils and maybe a white gel pen to accentuate so that you can kind of tell what's what. So then, as for my little ones, I have these. And I'm going to use milled lavender. I don't know if that's going to work. I mean, as far as purples go, it's more like a pink. So I'm going to, instead of stamping it on my rabbit, I'm going to stamp it over on this edge that I'm going to cut off and see if it matches enough. I don't like that color, I don't think. I think it's too pink. Oh, who am I kidding? We're going to give it a shot. Now let's go on a nice, that's 3 Ripley flowers in case you wanted to know what that one was. Then the next one I'm going to use, we're going smaller. This one is from the Basket of Flowers set, and it's a pretty little flower. And now I'm going to grab a couple more purple water-based markers. These are Stampin' Up! Markers. This is Concord Crush and Concord Crush. And then this is a magenta. And I had another one, but I think it was blue, so I gave up on the blue one. The thing I like about this is it's a filled in flower, and I don't know what it is about filled in flowers, but they just seem to really make the whole image pop for me. I mean, you might look at it and go, why is she going overboard with that? It's crazy. I'm going to see if this Concord Crush is too much of the same color, and we're going to use this one that has no name on it. It's like a mini poinsettia. I'm going to go with this pink that's probably, yep, bubblegum pink. And I'm going to go to, let's see what my smallest flower is. I have this one. These are called blinky flowers. They're very, very small. Very, very small. And again, I'm using the bubblegum pink on these. Now let's do some leaves. Let's try this, and it's called Fresh Lemonade. That's the set it came from. And I'm going to use a green marker that's called Green Tea. Not sure what you think of it, but I'm having fun with it. I'm going to do a little bit more pink and little 3 Ripley flowers. I think we're good. Let me cut them out, and I will come back and we'll put them on the background, and we'll see how he turns out. So I decided I was going to make some layers for my paper. I was going to make a 5x7 card, and when I went to do that, here's what I realized. I embossed paper, and it was a textured paper, and when I put one sheet in, it cracked. So I decided I would try 2 sheets. The top sheet still cracked a little bit, but the bottom sheet came out perfectly. So if you have that problem when you're embossing and you can't figure out why your papers crack, it's probably because your papers are thinner, or you're just having a little bit of problem with the texture on it. And I just recommend you put 2 pieces through. The back of this one isn't really bad. It has a few cracks, but I like this one better. So we're going to go with that one. And then my rabbit is underneath, and I think I'm going to layer it. I'm layering everything onto a darker purple paper because I think it really makes that rabbit pop. So I'm going to cut some of this down, and we're going to get our sentiment ready, and we're going to go with it. I put my paper in the inside, and it's going to be in the end, it's a 10.5 inch wide by 7 inch tall card. It's an unusual size, so I'm going to have to make my own envelope, which isn't a big deal. But anyway, I decided I was going to try to wipe the shaded lilac across the top. I did it on this piece. I don't know if you can see the difference in the lines. Can you see that? Anyway, I thought it kind of looked nice, so I figured we would go with it. And I'm just going to get another piece of my scrap paper underneath because you know I'm going to make a big mess. Luckily, that darker purple color won't show this, even if I do really mess it up. And I might. And like I said, I'm just going ink pad right to paper. I didn't think that the lines were defined enough, and I wanted them to show up. You don't need to do the center if you don't want to, because no one's going to see the center. They're only going to see the edges. But I wanted to make sure my edges really pop. I really contemplated going around the edges of my bunny, you know, like with that. But I'm not really good at doing that. And I'm afraid if I do it, I'm going to mess up my card. Oh, and I did stamp wishing you a happy Easter there. So let's put a little bit of foam tape on the back. I bought some new foam tape on AliExpress, and I'm pretty concerned it's going to be like that time I bought the foam tape from the dollar. No, I don't know where I got the foam tape from. That was a nightmare. But this kind of has that feel to it, that it's either going to be super duper sticky that I'm never going to get it off my hands, or it's not going to stick at all. And right now it doesn't look like it's going to stick at all, so we're going to go with that. And I don't mind if it's less sticky, because trust me when I tell you, if you don't remember me whining about that, there's about 100 videos where I used that up because I was not going to throw it out. And every time I used it, I complained. And not a little bit. I'm talking I whined like a little baby. Because it was attached to me. It was attached to my project, me, my clothes, anything it could get a hold of it attached to. Got lots of foam tape on the back. Let's see if the tape comes off. I was wondering if the backing would give me a problem. Just that one piece so far. And now I'm hermetically sealed to the first one. I figured I would let you see if this worked or not, because when we look to find really inexpensive products on AliExpress, you don't know if it's going to work or not. And so I want to make sure that I tell you if this is going to be a fail or not. Always make sure you check to make sure it's right side up, because you know how many things I've stuck upside down. And my bunny is not nearly as big as my card. I did that on purpose because I thought it would be pretty to be able to see those lines. I don't know about you, but I'm really tickled with this new technique with the using the jelly plate to make images that are real and not abstract. I'm excited. I have a bunch more ideas on videos that we can do with that. So here is our card. I hope you go over to Rubber Stamp Tapestry. It's www.rubberstamptapestry.com. And Rebecca is doing her video. So her video on her bunny is going to go live noon on Monday, and mine is going to go live noon on Monday. So I hope you'll check both of them out to see how we each did our own version of that, using that bird picture as our kind of thought of where to go from there. And both of us using the bunny stencil. And down below I'll put all the information about where we got our bunny stencil, and all of the information about the stamps I used. I hope you enjoyed this, that you give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Please tell your friends about me on social media, because you know I love that. And thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.